Listen. Imagine how life will be.
What is it that makes a person a hero? Is it the risk they take? Or the lives they change? There are people in the world today who are offering hope instead of despair. They are the new heroes. Hello, I'm Robert Redford. Conventional wisdom says that only governments and great international institutions can help the poorest people of the world. But there's a new idea taking root. People are applying business skills to solving social ills. They're unlocking the power of human individual potential. These people are a rare combination of saint, politician, and hard-nosed business person. They've been called the change makers or social entrepreneurs, but whatever the name, they are the new heroes of our time. At 5 a.m. on a January morning, activist Kailash Satyarthi is leading a raid to free slaves held at a stone quarry owned by the Indian mafia.
We plan secret raids, undercover operations, keeping everything very secret because the secrecy and speed are the two key factors in conducting such secret raids.
Kailash is a veteran of many raids, but this one is especially dangerous because here in the state of Haryana, the mob is famous for killing those who dare to cross it.
We have lost one of our friends there. He was shot dead in the stone quarries when we were trying to rescue some people. So this goes on actually.
Among those in the lead car with Kailash is a woman who worked for him as a spy and lived among the slaves in preparation for the raid. As they approach the shacks where the slaves live, she tells Kailash that they have at most 20 minutes before the mob goons show up.
We decided that we should go very early morning so that nobody could be alarmed and nobody know what is happening. And everybody was surprised because when they slept last night, they didn't know what would happen next morning. So they were shocked.
For all the urgency, Kailash knows from experience that if he scares or rushes these people, they won't come. Their wariness is born of knowing what will happen if they are caught trying to escape.
If they are caught, any kind of torture is met to them. They are beaten up severely, they are burned with the cigarettes, sometimes they are tied down on trees and beaten with stones. The women are raped in front of everyone. These kind of things happened in the past.
Each family has just a few minutes to decide whether to trust Kailash and leave behind the only life they've known, or stay at the quarry. Fortunately, many of the slaves have come to trust Natanya, the spy, for she shared their hardships for months.
The people here had to work 12 hours a day, every day of the year. If there was a truck to load, they had to work 18 or 19 hours. And anyone who so much as dared to talk out of turn would be beaten up by men with clubs and abused horribly.
Even as a kind of hysteria builds, Kailash remains calm.
It's very difficult for them to realize or internalize the freedom because they are born and they grew up here, and some of them are old while working here in slavery. So it takes some time for them to understand what is this freedom. आज़ाद हो गए। हाँ, अब तुम अपने घर जाओगे आराम से, कोई डरने की बात नहीं, कोई डर नहीं।
Then, suddenly Kailash realizes that things are not going as planned. The truck that is supposed to carry everyone away from the quarry is nowhere to be seen. Unknown to Kailash, the driver is too afraid of the mobsters to come. Kailash begins to load as many people as he can in his car, but he knows that if the goons come, most of the slaves will be trapped. Then, the tide turns. Kailash's allies have convinced the driver of the truck to carry out the raid. When the ones holding back see that escape is truly possible, they take the leap too. As the truck pulls away, one woman is beside herself. Her husband was sent away on a job by the quarry owners, and she can't leave him. 3 remain behind. 52 flee. This is Bal Ashram, the village which Kailash Satyarthi has built as a kind of halfway house for rescued slaves. As word races through the village that Kailash is back, everyone comes out to welcome the new arrivals.
We were expecting to release about 20-30 people. We don't know how many are there, we have to count. I think they are more than what we expected, I think. This is the process of some sort of a small victory of liberty over slavery.
All of these children were once slaves. In India, starving people sell themselves into debt bondage to survive, and then find themselves trapped for the rest of their lives. Their owners illegally buy and sell them, and corrupt state governments get a cut of the profits.
People believe that slavery is abolished, but it is not true. We still see children, women, and men enslaved virtually, as you see in the medieval age. They have no freedom at all.
The first thing rescued slaves experience here is a welcoming ceremony. Kailash focuses especially on the children.
To begin with, I called a boy and asked him to tell his name. He was very timid, he was very slow and very shy. Then I called another boy from the ashram who has lived in the same conditions. He was also a slave boy. And each time they speak their name loudly, some sense of self-confidence goes inside.
The ceremony is followed by something far more important from the rescued slaves' point of view. For years, they've been on the edge of starvation.
It looked that they were hungry for ages to have good food. They ate a lot and a lot and a lot. They ate so much. They have no idea about their future, so they wanted to eat as much as possible.
The future for these people is extremely uncertain. As members of India's untouchable caste, it is very difficult for them to find jobs, and neither their government nor most of their fellow citizens care about what happens to them. After 3 days here, the rescued adults will be taken back to their ancestral villages where they will try to begin again. The places to which they will be returning are desperately poor. But one of the former slaves has no doubt that freedom is better than slavery.
अब हमारा भाग्य हमारे और भगवान के हाथ में है.
Now our destiny will be in our hands and God's.
स्वयं कमाएंगे.
And at least we will be able to earn our own money.
When he was 12 years old, Kailash Satyarthi began working to give India's poor a chance. Ever since then, he has been driven by a big idea, that the way to abolish slavery in India is to see to it that no child ever becomes a slave. He is fighting the battle on 3 fronts: in his town, in his country, and in his world. His town is Bal Ashram. The parents of rescued children are told that their sons and daughters can remain here for 6 months and take a crash course that will prepare them to go out into the world. Though parting from their children is hard, almost all the parents embrace the opportunity.
In ashram, we bring the freed children. We have about 100 children stay with us. We impart them basic education because we feel that education is the key to liberation. Education is key to empowerment. Education is key to prosperity for the future. So education is on the top of everything.
The oldest children are taught trades that will help them earn a living. The younger children are given intensive courses in reading, writing, and arithmetic. The goal is to make it possible for children who have never heard of school to return home and attend class with their age group. And then Kailash hopes they will become leaders of a new India.
The purpose is to inculcate the leadership among the former slaves. They go back home, they take responsibilities and risk, they rescue other people, and it is happening. Some of our former child slaves are now activists with us, and they are the ones who are liberators.
But to abolish slavery in India, Kailash needs more than Bal Ashram. He needs to reach the entire nation. And so he has begun spreading his simple idea that no child should be a slave to every village in India. This is the village of Sothana in rural Rajasthan. With the help of Kailash's organization, it is becoming a child-friendly village.
It's not possible to change the society without starting from the bottom, from the villages and the communities. So we had an idea of creating child-friendly village to make the entire world child-friendly. In a child-friendly village, it is necessary that all children are freed from labor and exploitation. Children attend the schools, and the village leadership recognizes the voices of children to help them out. So if these things happen, then we announce that this village has become child-friendly village. And that could be enlarged at child-friendly district, child-friendly state, child-friendly country, child-friendly world.
But Kailash knows that it's impossible for villages like Sothana to change the world by themselves. One reason there are millions of child slaves in India is that people in other countries are willing to buy the cheap goods that the slaves manufacture. And so Kailash and his allies also have a strategy for changing the world. Their first global crusade is focused on the carpet industry.
Children are used because they are the cheapest source of labor. They are physically and mentally vulnerable. They could be forced to become slaves easily. They are not allowed to even meet their parents. If they make a silly mistake, they are beaten up, they are branded. Sometimes if they try to run away, they are killed.
Many of the children at Bal Ashram are former carpet slaves.
I worked night and day, and if I fell asleep, they would beat me. The first time I escaped and returned home, my father immediately sold me again.
To put an end to the use of children in the carpet industry, Kailash and others have founded a non-profit group called Rugmark. Manufacturers who carry the Rugmark label are inspected to ensure that they are not using slaves.
Me and my friends started a campaign in Europe and United States to educate the consumers. Keep on buying the rugs made by poor children in slavery. They are also responsible for the perpetuation of that system. The only way to ensure that you are buying a clean carpet without child slavery is the Rugmark.
But for Rugmark to work, people in India, Europe, and America have to want to put an end to slavery. Kailash views the worst enemy as apathy. The feeling that in a world filled with billions of people and tens of millions of slaves, nothing can be done.
The people from everywhere in the world should feel, number one, that slavery is bad, the exploitation of children is bad. It has to go. And secondly, they should have a belief that it is possible. It is happening. It is not that it is very pessimistic that, oh, they are poor people, they are poor countries and nothing could happen. It's not true. The poor people, the poor countries can bring about change, and it is happening here. So they should have a belief that the change is possible. We can make a better world to live with, and that will happen.